What's up, world? It's your boy Tyrone Morgan. I'm coming to you with part 2 of The Soul of a Teacher here at the Soul Rehab Podcast. We would like thank you for tuning in last week, and we know school has already started, so we want to make sure that we really listen, because usually after the first 2 weeks of the new, some of that new wear off, and so you'll be aware of what teachers go through throughout the year. So, with nothing else left to say, let's get ready, get set, let's go.
The milk carton right. He didn't close the milk carton. He got wrote up for not closing the milk carton. And that was when I had it. I was like, look, this ain't gonna work right here. And it was because he was bored. He was simply bored. And this is the thing. And my kids hate me for it. In the summertime, I prepared them for the next school year. So they already knew the information. So second grade, he already knew how to multiply. So he already knew how to do that. So he was literally bored. And it was just, and I told them they would have to provide him with different assignments to let him do more things. And also, he doesn't like he doesn't work well with people. He likes to do things by himself. So when you put him in a group, that is just not going to work well for him. He's gotten better as time has progressed, but he still likes to work solo. He likes to do it his way, his thing. So it's just really knowing the child, I think. And so often, do we want to, and yes, it takes extra work when we provide different assignments. And sometimes we have to be honest to say, you go ask somebody else, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me with this child? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. All right. Anybody else?
I think that's one thing I'm gonna implement this year is trying different assignments based on my students' needs. I think first year I was just I was so worried about making sure I knew the material and make sure I'm teaching them. Yes, but this year is like, okay, it's going to be more hands-on, and that's the paying attention to like my student needs. And okay, this person may need a different worksheet that maybe break it down similar terms versus okay, this person go ahead and get this worksheet, and then doing more smaller groups, because Danica know me, I hated doing group activity. I hated it. My first period, if they was too much, second, no. But this year, that's something I'm really going to implement, because towards the end of the year, I realized my students learn better when they're in groups, because they feed off each other ideas and stuff. So, and then I make them bounce bad kids.
And I think the reason you're out of here.
All right.
I think the reason that children work well, because they need that socialization. Mm-hmm. They need to be able to think and talk it out. And I think that's why they work so well in groups, and they look forward to groups. But one thing that I think also that we need to do a better job as teachers is find their interests, find out what they like. Say, for example, I remember, I think you did a project for Black History, and the student didn't want to do the project. So I was like, this is an easy assignment. This is an easy assignment to get extra credit for. So I told that student, I said, okay, since you like sports, let's find a sports player that's an African American. So that student began, and he really did a good job once he found that sports player. He put his information on his PowerPoint and everything. So sometimes it's finding out what they are interested in and capitalizing on their strengths. So our next question is a tough one, I guess. Do you think the expectations of teachers are unrealistic from the state, district, administration, and parents?
Yes.
I say that right now.
My table didn't do that.
I don't know.
Well, say something then, daughter.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Well, we hit a sore spot then.
Yes.
Could you elaborate?
I'm just saying.
Tuned up, didn't she?
It's okay.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
okay.
Go ahead, girl.
He didn't need to be
I got
honest.
some tissue for your daughter. I got some tissue for her.
I'm just felt something, but no,
We felt it.
it's definitely unrealistic. I don't know how to even go in for it, but
Breathe through it.
but I think for me, I think I'm the only one that actually went through the teacher program to actually become a teacher. And so what they taught us is way different than what it is in the classroom. So coming to the classroom, I was like, okay, this ain't it. We got to deal with so many behavior problems, not just behavior, but also emotional. Like our kids deal with a lot of stuff at home. We're not taught how to deal with that. You know, my peers, their parents passed away during the year. I don't know how to, they didn't teach us how to comfort that child. Not only just with their emotions, but also paperwork, trying to get all these meetings going on. My mom knows about that. Trying to get these kids passed. And I know last year that was like one of the things that was stressing me out the most. Like, how can I get these kids to pass this EOG? And not really just, some of the kids are not going to, we want all of our kids to pass, but sometimes it's unrealistic. We have to get them to grow to that point. Some of our kids, I'm going to teach 8th grade, some of my kids on the 2nd grade level. It's hard to teach from a 2nd grade to 8th grade level in the span of a year. So that's just one of the other things. Y'all can go ahead.
I think you did good, Danica.
Yeah. She calmed that right on down. She started off in the feelings and then she brought it back. I love that.
That's a piggyback with Danica. I remember going to her. I said, Danica, like, most of my kids not past the LG. And she said, well, I said they grew. And I stopped and looked. I said, they did. And I'm not talking about single digits. I'm talking about double digits, over 20-something points. So when I went back and to my kids, I'm like, hey, this is what you made on the ELG, but you grew this many points. They didn't expect you to grow. They saw report based on what was projected you to make. You grew 20 points. You grew. We had somebody grew over 50 points, 60 points. I said, so right there, I can't even be mad with you not passing. I'm glad that you are growing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in agreement. Sometimes I think they put unreal expectations upon us with the amount of work that they want us to do in the span of the year. Not just, again, we have so many different dynamics that we have to deal with the whole child, that sometimes it may not even be about the educational piece that we're dealing with. We're just comforting the emotional piece of that child. And if we can get that part to grow, a lot of times then the educational piece will grow, because they have so much stuff that they're unpacking from home life, from bringing the outside stuff in. In my classroom, I keep snacks for my students and other students that come to me.
Yep.
Students are hungry sometimes.
Yep.
I know of a student, not this past summer, but the summer before, I was in summer school, and it was as simple as the student needed a bath. He was having behaviors because kids were saying that he was smelling, or somebody was picking on students, and it was just the simple fact that, hey, we need to deal with the whole child before we can get to the educational piece. Mm-hmm. We need to deal with those issues first, because with that part, if that student has shut down in that area, then there's nothing educational that they're going to get. So, we have to look at that part too. And it was simple. And they called me, they were like, Miss Sutton, we need you to come over here and deal with the student. I was like, oh, why I got to come? So I went and got the student. I was like, what is going on now? I'm too full figure to be running around the school to come get you. Now, that's the first thing that's wrong. So what is going on? And everybody just cleared out the room. I was like, what's going on? Why? And he sat down and talked. But again, it's having relationships with your students. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't even a student of mine. This was he was from the school or from a different school. But I just, in speaking, good morning, how you doing? How you doing, baby? All right, tie your shoes up, just speaking to different students throughout their day. That student connected with me just because of me speaking with him or speaking with them. and that makes a big difference. We have to look at the whole student. Again, students come hungry. We're feeding students so that they can learn. Sometimes they may not have adequate food throughout the week or day or whatever. And sometimes if we don't deal with that, we can't get to the educational piece.
And I'm gonna piggyback on Miss Vita. That's true because what I started doing, during breakfast, I tell my kids, don't throw. If you're not gonna eat it, put it right here on the table. And so eventually somebody's gonna go over there and get it. Tyrone, you'd be surprised how hard these kids work for Takis.
Mhm.
I made a promise to my kid: if you work really hard, you're gonna get Takis. Boy, you
right.
should have seen them pencils going. They was paying attention. So I know. I said, okay, Takis. So this year I'm gonna pass out Takis. You get something
Right.
right, you're gonna get a couple pieces of Takis.
Mhm.
And then they like eat Takis 8 o'clock in the morning. And this girl,
Or-
I will not start class until she get her paper towel, get some Takis, and somebody else wants some. I'm like, okay, y'all done with the Takis so I can teach? Yes, and they writing notes and eating Takis.
Right.
Long as they gave me their full attention, and I seen during lunchtime they swapping stuff out, and I had to tell my kids, wait till you get back in the classroom to do that. Don't do that in the cafeteria because I don't want nobody saying anything. Wait till you get back in the classroom, then y'all can swap. So yeah, I think what I'm doing this year is keep snacks. Well, I keep snacks for myself, but for the kids that I know that really need it.
Yes. And all that's beautiful. Everything that was said. And I'm so thankful for the summer school lunch program. I'm thankful for the backpack program where we send meals home with some students. Because we have a lot of students that live in poverty. We have a lot of students that just don't have anything. And I used to fuss so bad. Davita remember this. My son used to take my groceries out my house. He was like, Mom, I mean, he would literally take, I'm like, I don't have enough money to be feeding or for you to. He's like, Mom, but they don't have, and they're so hungry. And I just got to the point, like, I don't even care no more. But he would literally, like, Mom, these kids are so hungry. They come to school hungry, and we just have it. It's just laying around our house. Like, and I say that, I even remember during the pandemic when the students were home, that there was some students that text him and asked him, there was like, do you have anything to spare to eat? But there is a increasingly alarming amount of students that don't have food. And I do want to say this since school is starting back too, there is a lot of students that don't have school supplies. I know we have you'll see a lot of back to school drives giving out free school supplies, but still, there's still a lot of students that don't have school supplies. And so while we're up here, if you know a teacher, and you're willing, give them some paper, give them some extra pencils. They could always use that in their classroom. Donate to a teacher. And I'm thankful for all the community events that are sponsoring students, but still at the end of the day, there's still students that don't have school supplies. And one battle that I will not do in my classroom, if a student doesn't have paper, I'm going to give it to them. If they don't have pencil, I'm going to give it to them. I've seen some teachers like, I ain't going to give you no pencil, I ain't going to give you no paper. Well, how they going to do the work? So that to me is just a no-brainer. But yeah, just if you know a teacher, if you know some students that may be without, purchase something. Do what you can. Anybody have anything else before we? Okay.
I recall a poster, and it was about how a student was getting fussed at for not having a pencil. But the poster went on and doing all the stuff that he was dealing with at home. So as teachers, we have to make sure that what's in our students, they're dealing with more stuff at home than we even know or even think about knowing. Our students go through a lot of stuff. They go through sometimes more stuff than we do as adults. So we have to be careful about what we do and what we say to our kids.
Amen.
That's so true.
And just to piggyback on what me and Danica is going to do this year, we're going to do notebook checks, in which it's going to help the kids be more organized, which they can have something to help study. And I know me and Danica, we know the student can't afford the supplies for a binder, paper, device, it will be given to them. And I think that was the reason, maybe last year why, some of them didn't know how to study because they didn't have the materials to study. So,
Can I want to answer this question. I'm gonna go way left. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that way left. So I do think personally the expectations on teachers are super unrealistic.
Come on now.
For this one reason. We have the test. I think standardized testing sucks. I think it does not tell you. Look, there was a guy, and I'll give you an example. Now, I was pretty smart in school, but there was this guy that was good in math. Straight A student, like high A's. Almost he was, had that 4.0 in math. He sucked at taking tests. And so when he took his test, because he got himself so nervous, I didn't care because I felt like I knew it and I was going to make a good grade anyway, so it didn't bother me. He sucked at it, but all his classwork he never made nothing less than an A. And so when I was in school, we had a California achievement test. Shows you how old I am. So anyway, I know y'all don't even know what that is. But
I do.
yeah.
No.
Well, I know y'all. I'm talking about them other two youngsters over there. They were like, what? But we took it
With the bubble sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember the bubble sheet. Okay, I remember the bubble sheet.
Right.
So I can remember in 8th grade, we was in the high level 8th grade classes. And between 8th grade and 9th grade, there was if you did well on your math, you didn't have to take a something in high school. I forgot the name of the test. But he bombed his CAT test. That's what it was called, CAT test. He bombed it in 8th grade. So he had to take the standardized testing from between 8th and 9th grade to be able to place where he wanted to be in math because they were going to put him in a remedial math. So I think standardized testing does not give you the clear picture of the student. So I think you waste all this time doing a year trying to teach something that does not promote education for the student. It promotes an agenda by the government who don't care if the kids learn. They just care if their program get answered. So I went way left, and y'all can't say nothing about it, but I ain't a part of the school, and I can't. It's crazy. It blows my mind that we do that. Because to me, and I don't even remember complaining about the California Achievement Test. I don't remember complaining about it. I hear kids, they panic over their EOGs. What in the world? They are in school. They panicking over. I think it's the 3rd grade. If you don't do good on the 3rd grade, they like to hold you back or something. I think that mess is ridiculous, and I really think that's something that, because in reality, is most of that stuff they teaching us we really don't use in day-to-day life. So I think we need to learn the balance in that. And I love education. I want my kids to go well. I want to go to college, but I do think that we need to relook at how we do school.
Not only that, but with the test anxiety, not only do students get test anxiety, the teachers get it too, because we're so worried about whether or not we're going to meet those scores, because sometimes it does reflect bad upon you. It used to, but it used to be where teachers would get bonuses if their classes did well. They haven't done that, but I think they said they were going to start doing that again. So it does cause a lot of anxiety, not just for the students, but for the teachers as well, because we're trying to push, to get all these standards done in a short time. And then for the most part, they're still not grasping it. We got to get back to the basics so they can get to that part.
Yeah.
All right. I agree.
Anybody else?
And this is piggyback on what Ms. Vita said. With test anxiety for teachers, you have to make sure we don't have a mistest, what they call it, misadministration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where anything like everything in a book, or if we don't, it goes from simply us not turning off our own cell device, it can cause a mistest. So this like something that small, I know I was panicking. I took extra anxiety pills that day.
And let me say, yes, most definitely. I think I was proctoring at my daughter's school, and I realized that day she had such testing anxiety the day before. And I was like, I mean, you know, my children, they call the big guns in. My dad, when they really want something, they call him in to pray. But so she called him up early that morning. We have prayed. I mean, Davita prayed. I mean, we have prayed. We've had breakfast. We done had her talk, and literally, she's hugging me, and she won't let go. I'm like, it's okay, but she was literally shaking. And this is a good student that has done good all year long, but she's literally shaking over a test. And so I whispered into her ear. I said, "Look, Zoe, I want you to go do your best. Whether you pass or you fail, I'm still going to love you. My love for you is not going to change because of a
That's right.
test."
Right.
But
Yeah.
that was my daughter. I think about so many other students, but we've had students that commit suicide because of a test. You know,
Yep.
we don't.
Crazy.
We have parents that are really harsh if their child doesn't pass the test. Um, so I just look at so many stress factors with that. And I do remember when I was teaching how they compare teachers, you know, they put it on a graph, and how if your students didn't do good, you feel so bad. But sometimes, even with our class sizes, they're not fair. One teacher may have all the EC students. One teacher may have
Mm-hmm.
all AIG students. So of course, that student with the AIG student is going to pass. So here I am with all these EC students. My children showed growth, but they didn't pass. You know, so it's so much stress.
Yep.
And even so, we're starting to see I think, what did we get, that one mental health day, but some places got different mental health days. But we're starting to see teachers, the toll, the weight, just tearing them down. And we're going to see more of that increasingly.
Yeah, so I was stressed my first year teaching. I would say that. There was plenty of days where I came home, I was like, Lord, I don't know how to do this the next day. I probably called Dawson, just frustrated, crying, don't know what I'm going to do. But, you know, the love for our kids, you too, the love for our kids, you know, make the, girl, you too. But the love for our kids make us come back every day, you know, and keep wanting to do it. But it was definitely stressful. It was definitely stressful. And not only are our expectations on teachers unrealistic, I feel like sometimes for the kids they're unrealistic as well. Especially with these cell phones. Like, we can't expect a child to go all day long not looking at their cell phone. That's just unrealistic. And that's one of the things I noticed that some of our kids get in trouble for the most. Like, they could be a straight A student, but get suspended or sit out of the classroom 12 times during that year for that cell phone. But I digress.
It's okay. You had a rant.
Yes, I did.
It's okay. She's taking your spot, Tyra.
I was gonna say rants are welcomed on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back on what Daniqua has said. How I know I made an impact with my kids is I had a bad day, and I broke down crying. I wanted to pack my stuff and go home. Not sure if I was gonna come back. That's how bad my kids made me feel that day. And it was my period 2 and 3. They knew something was wrong. They knew something was wrong with Miss Dawson, and they did everything they can to make me laugh. They did everything they can to make the class go smooth. And then the next day, they came before class had started. Some of them came to me. Miss Dawson, you all right today? I'm like, yeah, I'm better. They're like, okay, because I don't want to see that no more. I don't like that, Miss Dawson. So it also, like, that's how you can tell you made an impact with your kids.
That's beautiful. And I guess that's a good time to ask this. What is your why? What is your why?
My kids. Because sometimes I'd be like, do you want Miss Dawson, Miss Ellen, or straight Ellen? It's three answers you can get from me. Choose wisely. Or do you want me to act like you? You want me to act like you just done? Which one? And they'd be like, choose wisely. And then, and I had a student tells me, I didn't teach this student, but he looked at me and he said, Miss Dawson, if you was my teacher, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble. I would have not gotten in so much trouble because I knew from what I hear about you, as soon as I would cut up, you would got me straight just like that. So they know, these kids know who they can put up with, and the teacher that know they're gonna snap right back. He said, and I wish I had you for a teacher because I would. And then he ended up coming to my class. He got bounced, and he tried it. I said, don't forget you in my class. So that means you mine now. You my student. I said, you're not gonna come in here and do what you do like you in Ms. Dawson classroom.
Right.
And I ain't had no more, I ain't had no more issues with that. So it's my kid. And then, some of them don't get the love and the affection at home. So somebody have to be a positive influence in their life. Like, don't let your current situation ruin your future. Do better. I tell my kids that, I was bullied. I didn't start talking till I was 3 years old. I had IEPs. I was getting pulled out for extra resources. Look at me now.
Yeah.
I'm about to earn my 3rd degree.
All right.
All the time. Like, if you see, I'm shy, I have anxiety, so that's my why.
Before anybody else, I want to speak something that you said that I think is important, that I think we overlook: structure. I think a lot of kids lack structure, but I think a lot of kids like structure because they know what they expect. They know if they go to Miss Dawson and Miss Ellen today, they know they in trouble. So, but I think a lot of the kids, I think they really enjoy. I think they want structure because structure is structure. Okay, y'all back. All right, because structure is something that so it's like if I go in your class and I don't know what to expect from you from day to day, then I don't. You going off my emotions. There ain't no consequences. We talked about that early response. There ain't nobody taking responsibility or accountability for nothing. The kids know that. They know they can do whatever they want. But they read in there and they somebody who got some structure. They most of the time they're gonna test it because they're kids. But once they find out that they can't get by it, then they fall into place. So I think that structure thing is great. So I want to hit on that. So y'all can go. Because I ain't a teacher, so I don't have a why yet.
It's funny because I wrote that same question down. Do students need structure?
Yeah.
Definitely yes to the structure. I'm very structured. I cannot function in chaos in my classroom. And anybody who knows me, who comes into my classroom, they know how Ms. Sutton's classroom runs. It's just, my schedule is up. My students know, my parents know, my administrators know, they know how I am. And they know my expectations. My students know my expectations, and I set those things at the beginning of the school year. Even when I get new students in, I still set that expectation. But my why is because I feel like every student has a place. And I want my place to be a safe place for them. I want my place to be a safe haven for them where they can learn regardless of how they learn or who it is. I want them to be able to know that, you got a place in Ms. Sutton's class and you can do this. And I always tell my students that, and that's one of my big mantras in my class. You can do this, and they get to cutting up and I'm like, hey, tell your neighbor we ain't gonna do that today because what? And they'll be like, we can do this. And so they know that. That's one of my mantras. And I'm like, what's going on? Nothing. What? So I can do this. Okay. We don't say I can't. We can. I can do this. It may take me time to do this, but I can do this. And that's my thing. I want them to know that they are somebody and they're capable of doing what they need to do.
That's good.
Good. Yeah, I thought she did. But go ahead. Say it again. Say it again. You say my babies.
Oh yeah, my babies are my why. They call me. They hate it, and I call them my baby. It's like you didn't have us, but they're my babies, and they know they were my babies. Because when I was out, I had a quarantine from my father, but I was out. I kept getting emails like, where are you at? You need to come back. I'm like, y'all, I'm just gone for 3 or 4 days. But they were worried, they were concerned, and I know they love me, and I love them, and they were my babies. I protect my babies. You ain't gonna mess with my kids.
Period.
Right.
And I know Dawson is good for it too, because you're not gonna mess with my kids. They're gonna mess with my baby.
Let me tell you, just to piggyback what Daniqua said, I was leaving. Me and my kids we were leaving the cafeteria, and one of my kids said, Miss Dawson, they threw food at me. I said, girl, who? And I went back in there. I said, so y'all throwing food now? I said, you can't accept the fact that we giving you free food to eat this lunch. I said, don't get it off. I said, I don't play that. I said, she's mine. I said, I might not have her, but she's mine. And she's in my classroom, so I'm gonna take what's mine. I said, so who threw it? They all point finger. I said, how about this? I got all y'all, so I know I got the right one. And she
That's
like,
right.
and my class, they was like, oh, y'all done got it. They got in trouble.
But yes, and that goes back to building a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my parents at the beginning at open house, whenever we first meet the teachers, they're my babies. They step in my classroom, they're mine. And when I call up, be like, guess what our baby did? I'm excited about the little victories that they have. And parents expect that. And they're like, oh, Miss Sutton, thank you. I still have students who have left elementary school, have gone to middle school now, and some in high school that call me or email me and send me text messages. Some of them over there at Frank right now. Miss Sutton, can I come back to your school? No, you can't come back, baby. I keep going forward. I want you to go forward. Don't go backwards. We go keep going forward. But they'll come back. They see me in the store. They'll stop. They say, guess what I did? And I'm like, that's what I told you. I told you could do it. You did. You told me I could do it. And guess what I did? I made the honor roll. I said, this is what we are preparing you for. And they have to believe that if you believe in them, they'll start believing in themselves. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, a lot of these students don't have anybody to believe in them. Mm-mm. And so when we believe in them and we tell them that they can do this and we show them how good they are, that's what makes the difference. And then when they come back and they're like, I did it, Miss Sutton. Guess what? I did it. I really did it. I was like, I told you could do it. You did tell me that. And you can see the pride in their faces. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes my day. That's what makes me happy. To see them succeed. Even the little things, the little victories are big victories to me.
Yes,
go ahead.
I agree. Like some of my kids, they didn't pass the EOG, but seeing them growing 60, 40, 50 points, they were so happy. That's what matters. Not that, whether you pass or not, but how much did you grow? And seeing that, the happiness, that proud of their, themselves on their faces, that just made my day. That made teaching, worth it. That made my why, they're proud of themselves.
And I had a student, she has so many behaviors and negativity attached to her name. And I challenged her one day. I said, you complete 5 problems and you get them right. I'm going to call your mom and tell her how, you done a good job today. And she done it. And she said, well, Miss Dawson, the only problem is you can't call my mom because she got the school number blocked. Hurt my feelings. So I said, well, I'm going to call somebody in the family so they can tell your mama. So I ended up calling the aunt, and she didn't pick up. I'm like, Lord have mercy. I said, you got to do better. I said, they ain't pick up the phone because they probably think you done did something. It made her feel good. She said, Miss Dawson, and the next day she said, Miss Dawson, you actually went home. You actually called my aunt because my mama told me like she was proud of me. I said, yeah. I said, I know you got so many negative, bad phone calls and behavioral attacks to you, but I'm going to help you. If I see you doing good, I'm gonna let your parents know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love that because as teachers, it's important for us to advocate for our children. That's and right. Sometimes they have never had that safe person, somebody that advocates for them. So that makes a difference. Love this. I remember a few years ago, and I guess sometimes I cry. But one of my students that I had taught in 4th grade, she invited me to her high school graduation. And it was just so beautiful because, you only get, 7 tickets. And for her to think of me enough to invite me to her high school graduation, it was just so sweet to me. And just to see her grow from 4th grade to 12th grade, and today she's a nurse. It's just like I love it to know that I have made some type of difference in
Mhm.
the lives of students. Whether it is a good morning, whether it is a pound or a hug,
Mhm.
or you
Yep.
could do it. I have set something positive into their lives, and they remember it. Even when we correct them, they remember it. So yes. And I just wanted to say this too. I think it's unrealistic for us to expect everybody to be on the A honor roll or to be
Most
honorable.
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
unrealistic. Everybody's not going to college. Um,
Mhm.
and you don't have to go to college. You need to find your potential. You know, there's people that go find a trade and they make more than people that have college degrees.
Make more
You
than
know,
teach.
Yes.
hmm
Mm.
and that teach. You know, some plumbers and electricians make more, and that's 18-month, or welders, 18-month program make more than teachers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so find what you're like, what you like, and what you're passionate about. But I do want to say to parents, every student will not be A material. Every student is not B material. But as long as that student is doing their personal best, we should be proud of them.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Right.
Anybody want to say anything on that?
You
I
can.
think the parents should communicate to us. They need anything, put that pride to the side and confide in somebody. Like if they need help, hey, I need help with my baby's school supplies. Let us know. Let us know if you don't understand math. Like, hey, me and my child not good in math. Okay, well, this is what I can do for you. You know, I can send YouTube links and extra work home so you can help your baby. And I had my school email sent to my phone. I tell my kids since day one. I have a active 2-year-old at the time. He's very active. I'll be away from my computer, but I'm gonna have my phone on me. So if you need help with the homework assignment, screenshot the homework, the problem, and I'm gonna get back with you as soon as because I keep my phone on me. And my parents appreciate it. They love that. My kids love the fact that I respond to them just like that. So, but this for the parents, just let us know, put that pride to the side. Hey, this is what I got going on. I need help in this area.
That's awesome. That's actually my next question. Can you discuss some parents that may be in denial about students' behavior and academics? And you kind of hit on that by asking for help.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let us know because the kids, I have a kid. He told me, he said, Miss Dawson, the day I come in here and don't act up and be quiet, that's the day you need to worry. I had a,
Well,
and there's some kids that's actually, I had to learn you can't come at them. You have to talk to them different because they street smart. And believe it or not, when they be in middle school, they street smart. So you have to come at them a different way. You can't talk to them any kind of way.
right.
So you have to talk to them on their level, and that comes from them getting love from outside the home.
So true.
And
And
a
that's
lot of times, as teachers, we have to be counselors to not only the students but our parents.
Hmm.
Um, and we have to remember that they do come with a lot of baggage to school.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. This is even before I started working public schools. I had a baby that called me up in the middle of the night, and this, like I said, this is before I became, before I started working public schools, and she was suicidal. I had to leave my kids at home in the bed, sleep, and I had to go to that child's house to talk with her. We're in the bathroom floor, sitting there crying together. But it was that need at that time. So we
Hmm.
have to understand that sometimes we have to be counselors, we have to be parents, we have to be. And I've had students come in my classroom and just cry in my arms.
Hmm.
And that's all you can do, just hold them and let them cry. Because
Hmm.
at that moment, that is what they need. And
Yep.
sometimes we meet needs that we don't understand. And again, we have to, make sure that we're communicating with parents. Hey, and parents will let us know some days they're having a bad day. Today's not a good day for Johnny because so and so something happened to little Johnny. Little Johnny woke up. He didn't sleep good last night. So, and we have to know these things to be an effective teacher. Without that, it makes our day a lot difficult.
And I didn't know the meaning of this term. It takes a village to what's it takes a village
To raise a child.
to raise a child till I had my own baby. So I don't want parents to feel like we are taking over. We are helping your babies. And I tell my kids all the time, I know they be like, Miss Dawson, you always fussing at us, da, da, da. You always nag. I said, but baby, the day I stop, that's the day you need to be worried. So I just want the parents to know that we don't, as when you have a good teacher, we're not taking over as their mamas or their father. We are assisting. We are helping you because during the day we are your eyes with your children. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna have your child back. And if anything goes down, you gonna come to us. Well, what happened? You supposed to be watching my baby. You supposed to be supervising my baby. What happened? So I just want parents don't feel like, oh, that's my baby. I brought him into this world. You not his mom. I can't deal with parents like that. We not taking over your baby. We have our own kids at home. We just want to love on your baby. We want to see your baby's success. We want to be effective in your baby's lives. So that's how I feel about that.
And there's nothing wrong with receiving extra help. Just because your kid has a plan or needs a plan, that's best for them. We want to make sure that all students learning and will learn. So just because your students need to be on the plan doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with them or that they're dumb. It's just they're getting that extra help and extra support that they're needing. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And we want your kid to learn. That's how they learn,
And I can speak again on that too. And my sister laugh at this because from kindergarten until about the third grade, I received speech services. You can't tell it now, but
Me too. Hey, we're a lot alike.
Miss Don did too. Tyrone did
too. And it's still stutter right now. So
I received speech services. So I had an IEP, for speech, so, and my sister laughs at me all the time. She's like, and now we can't get you to hush, but, but I did. And my parents saw the need. Thanks, Denise. And my parents saw the need. And a lot of times getting extra help, getting an IEP, getting help, getting outside help. There's outside resources. If you need help, there is somebody available to help you. Even students with autism, there are all sorts of resources. Students with ADHD, there's resources. Students with dyslexia, there's all sorts of resources. In my classroom, I have flexible seating because I know all of my students aren't going to sit down. I have bouncing balls. I have little bean bag chairs. I need some more flexible seating. Anybody want to donate flexible seating to my classroom? You feel free to do so. That's my service plug. But I have all of this stuff in my classroom because I know that everybody doesn't learn the same. I have a student that loves to stand up and work. That's fine. He's getting the work done. It's fine. And everybody, some teachers sit down, be still, sit down. That doesn't work for everybody. And so this is what we have to realize. Again, it's all about that relationship, knowing your students, having that communication piece with your parents. And, sometimes parents can give you some information about this student that you would have never thought. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, let me try it this way because mom said that this works better. And then, again, it's that village. You're right. It's that village. We're not taking over, but we want the best for your students. We want them to exceed and excel. And I've told some of my students, I want to see you. I want to see you when you graduate. I want to know that you graduate. I want to see this. I am proud of you. And I tell them that all the time. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you now. I'm proud of you, what you're going to do in the future. And so we got to speak those positive affirmations into our students. And a lot of times they don't get that. So we're that first, sometimes that's all the affirmation they get is that good morning and have a great day. You're wonderful. You're great. It's going to be a great day. But they don't get that. And so when we give it to them, they were like, yeah, it's going to be a great day. Thanks, Miss Sutton. Okay. All right. Be good.
that's cool.
Anybody else?
And we might not like all of our students, but they can never know that, They can never, ever know that at all. You treat every student the same, Let's go put that out there. I love all my students from last year. If y'all listening, I do love
that. Was your disclaimer?
Yeah.
I like that disclaimer.
But you do have personalities that clash.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
So and that's with students and teachers with teachers and teachers with administrators. So that's in every part of the society. So yeah. I agree with you, Denise.
We clashed a lot, but I love her to death, and she ended up becoming my baby. I hope she's doing well next year. I love her.
And Tyrone, before I bounce my kids, I always tell them, I love you, but you got to go.
Oh my God, that's
I
funny.
just
They're
want
like,
to
Miss Austin, you love me, you let me say,
it's too funny, but it's real. This is reality.
No doubt.
I want to say, teaching is very much like being a single parent wearing many hats. We wear so many hats. Some days we don't even get to teach because we are being a counselor, we are being a nurse, we are being an advocate. So some days we're pulled out to go to this meeting to advocate for our children. So I always tell people, teaching is not for the faint at heart. It's not for the faint at heart. And one thing for sure, if you're in this, you better love what you do. Or if you don't love teaching, again, you are in the wrong profession. If you don't truly love it, you're in the wrong profession.
Amen.
I agree. But look, we've been out here an hour and a half.
We're done.
So we getting ready to wrap this up. And I just want to say
That
this and
was
give
my
us.
rap.
Oh, that was your rap. Well, let me do mine in my first closing. Anyhow, I'm only playing. I did.
As I say, church, bring it on in.
So I wanted. We call this. The Lord gave me the name right at the end because I couldn't think of what I wanted to put on the little ticker at the bottom. But it was the soul of the teacher, and if we know what a soul is, it's our mind, will, and emotion. And so I think today we've got very great introspect from these teachers of the mind, the soul, and the emotions that go behind being a teacher. All y'all in the North County, right? Yeah, I want to plug in my county, Lenoir County. So, and I end with this one thing that I can remember, something about a teacher. There was two teachers that had a major impact on my life in my high school career. One of them was Mr. Lee Holder. I love Mr. Holder. Look, he just retired last year or year 4, but he was the first teacher to ever give me a voice and would listen to what I had to say. He was new. He had a crazy perspective, and he always had this. He always had us thinking future and thinking big all the time. And I can just remember that. And the other one was Miss Julie Batchelor, because she would always put up on my foolishness because she knew at the end of the day that I was a great student, and she just wanted to see me be successful because she would tell me that all the time. But them were two teachers, and I wanted to say that because I think there's times that as teachers, y'all go unnoticed, but they are students that you have such an impact on that you never really know. So you never know the expansion of your touch while being a teacher, and being a teacher that cares is important. So I just wanted to pat y'all on the back. Thank you for being great teachers. If anybody can't figure out that y'all are great teachers from this podcast, they need to watch it again. And anyway, watch it twice so you can get my numbers up. But anyhow, look, y'all, I thank y'all for joining. We will do another one soon. Maybe we'll get you back in the middle of the year, see if you still have the same perspective.
I love that.
We're on break right now, so we get refreshed.
Right. You've been replenished. So let's see how you are right before Christmas break. And then we'll get y'all back on. But anyhow, we're going to close this podcast out, and we hope to see y'all again. Thanks for tuning in to the Soul Rehab podcast. And in part, we always wish you peace out.
And be well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.